Hey guys, how's it going? Marcelo here, and I'm blown away by the reception to my CTR More Characters video. Thank you all so much. But, you know me, when it comes to Crash, we need to go bigger. So now that we've evaluated the many different kinds of characters I feel Beanox can still add into the game, let's dial the focus back to the characters we already have. All of them, because we're going to come up with skin ideas for all 50 of them. So without further ado, let's get started.
Destination mark.
So before we begin, let me state that a lot of these are just ideas. I'll be suggesting skins for characters who have had different looks over the years that haven't been represented yet, and for others, Miharu the Fox has helped me come up with entirely original ideas. And you'll see on the screen if the costumes are going to be color swaps or legendary skins. With that said, let's begin with the main Bandicoot himself, Crash. There are a lot of skin ideas we can implement for him, including Jetpack Crash from Crash 2, Santa Crash from this old Yaya Dog ad, the remaining tag team racing costumes such as Agent Crash, Classic Crash, Realistic Crash, Nega Crash, and Cave Crash, his design from Crash the Titans, or his touched up look from Mind Over Mutant, and Carbon Crash from those games as well. Now, a few things to address. I think Rapper Crash from this other Naughty Dog promo image would be a funny inclusion, but then there's also Krizash Bandikizzle from CTTR. Since both share the same theme, which one would you like to see? You can let me know in the comments. As for Nega Crash, this might go against my whole argument in the comments of my More Characters video about Evil Coco making it in as a racer, while Dark Coco was already inspired by her, but if you take a look at Evil Crash and Nega Crash side by side, my logic for the Cocos still applies here. One was inspired by the other, but they're just different enough to work as separate entities. Think of Evil Crash being Evil Crash, while Nega Crash is Crash just parodying him, wearing a costume based off him. Cause, well, that is what he's doing. And also in regards to Titans Crash, which will be the case for many other characters later in the video, I don't exactly mean for Beanox to completely alter Crash's face and look to resemble that of actual Titans Crash, because as we can see with Norm and Real Velo, some of their skins make them look like entirely different characters. I mean for Crash to be wearing the clothes that Titans Crash has. Studded belt, dark red Converse, and yes, I'd like for the tattoos to return, while looking just a little scruffier in the fur to better resemble him, but it'd still be classic insane Crash. Okay, with all of that crashiness out of the way, and with that explanation in mind, for Cortex, I think he too should have a skin resembling his look in Titans Mind Over Mutant. Not the big weird nose or the small eyes or mouth, just the more jagged blue hair in the lab coat he's wearing, with the dark reddish brown gloves and boots. For Tiny, it's much of the same. I'd like to see his Titans look represented, but instead of overhauling Tiny to look like a Bengal tiger, just simply give him the attire that Titans Tiny wore. Coco's gonna require a bit of an explanation as well, especially after reading and replying to a lot of comments regarding Evil Coco on my last video. But we'll get there in a minute. First, I think it'd be cool to see her Boom Bang look return. Yes, that weird, almost cheerleader look that Dimps gave her for whatever reason. Like I said with the Viscount in the last video, if Beanox were to throw this game a bone, I think one character and one skin would be enough. I'd also like to see Coco's Titans look represented, as her hairstyle already subtly is with her beach outfit, and we already have Mind Over Mutant Coco represented in her Evil Coco skin. Okay, here's where things require another explanation. I'll try to make this as clear as I can. I explained to people in the comments of the last video that a couple things could happen if the cut Twinsanity character Evil Coco made it into Nitro-Fueled. Either the Mind Over Mutant Evil Coco skin would be renamed to something else so the Evil Coco character could keep her name, or Mind Over Mutant Coco would remain the same and the Evil Coco character would be renamed something else. 10th Dimension Coco, Anti-Coco, I don't know. I only bring this up not just to clarify a bit of my reasoning for adding her into my previous list, but because my other skin idea for the regular Coco would be Hypno Coco from the GBA game Crash 2 Entranced. And in that game, she is also referred to as Evil Coco. I'm going to try to break this down in a way that doesn't confuse anyone. And while retrieving some of the pictures for Coco off the Villains Wiki, I found that whoever included the pictures and tabbed them had the same idea. So let's recap Coco real quick, since the concept of her turning evil is very inconsistently named. This, and this are all currently known as Evil Coco. If we take inspiration from the Villains Wiki, let's rename them as Evil Coco, since she complements Evil Crash as separate characters to the originals, Hypno Coco since she's brainwashed, and Monster Coco, as even though she's still brainwashed, the MV transformed her into a brainless, mind-controlled creature. So, Evil, Hypno, and Monster. I think that'll suffice. Moving on to Engine, it's more of the same. I think a nice palette swap would be his look from CTTR to Mind Over Mutant, with the zombie gray skin, the darker hair, and maybe a different look for the missile as well. Now for Dingodile, here's where we start to see some entirely original ideas. He could have a crocodile hunter skin, give him an explorer's jacket and khakis, boots, a hat, and convert his flamethrower into a net shooter to catch animals, or maybe himself in a comedic podium animation, and there you go. For Polar, he could have a very cool street look, inspired by how he was seen holding a bat very uncharacteristically menacingly in Twinsanity. He could have a very Yakuza-inspired look, with tribal tattoos running along his arms and torso in reference to the actual tattoo patterns the Yakuza members have. Or if you want to see Polar go a more cutesy route, how about a sailor costume? That could work for him too. Pura can have a palette swap that resembles a caracal, which is a very unique looking wildcat. He could have the long ears and the nice golden tan color that they're known for. Since Penta's existing skins take from other birds, he could have a colorful dodo look, mostly white with a brown face. For Ripperoo, I'd like to see his Crash 2 look return in the form of his luscious blonde wig and poofy blonde mustache. You could even give him his big Dr. Roo glasses to represent that side of him from the fight as well. For Papu Papu, I think it'd be neat to make him a sumo wrestler. Even if he'd kind of resemble his normal self, just think of the funny podium animations he can have with that. For Komodo Joe, he could take on the role of a fantasy librarian, toting big glasses, some epic robes, and attempting to do magic, almost like an alchemist. For Pinstripe, I feel he could look really snazzy as a secret agent. And like Dingodile, it'd be funny if his Tommy gun became a trank gun, and he ended up shooting himself in his podium animation. Fake Crash could be a car mechanic. It's about time we come to a skin that's actually themed around racing, but it'd be cool to see him look like a one-man pit stop crew. Oxide could finally fulfill his narcissism, and don some royal garb as Gasmoxian Emperor Oxide, complete with a scepter and a big crown or headdress. Entropy could have his Twinsanity design back, as it's the only drastically different one of his, and as a podium animation, he could even have that guitar strumming animation he does with his tuning fork staff if you died to him in that fight. But not only that, he could also have a totally original Knight skin. The idea of Entropy looking all tall and lanky in Knight's armor is really funny to me. There are a few I can think of for Crunch. He can have his Mr. Crunch outfit from CTTR, his Titans look since, like Coco, his Mind Over Mutant look is already represented, and also like Coco, Hypno Crunch can return. Also, am I the only one who never saw this render this clearly before, and never knew until now that his robot arm is the blaster he's using against you in that battle? I think that's really cool. Yeah, comments all the wow you just realized that now comments. I was coming up blank for Krunk, so this one's a little lame. I figured since a lot of other characters have robotic skins, and Krunk is a more primitive ape-like being, what if he had a similar skin? It'd be like the past colliding with the future or something, I don't know. The norms could get something pretty simple like astronaut outfits, but again, the podium animations could be really funny for them. I could see Nash as a lifeguard, with little swimming trunks and a rescue can. The funny thing is there's actually already a Titan like this in the DS version of Crash of the Titans called Josselhoff, a reference to David Hasselhoff and his character from the show Baywatch. Also, Nash could be a bellhop, because visualize that for a moment. He would look amazing. And Trans could have a waiter outfit, because he could serve bacon and eggs, and look horrified at the eggs. I was coming up kind of blank for him. Real Velo, however, could have a warlock skin. I think that could look pretty badass. And hey, we finally have an idea for a legendary skin for Geary. How cool would it be if he looked kind of like the Terminator with piercing red eyes, which he had in the original CNK, and a completely silver metallic body? But instead of looking sleek and fresh, he could look all worn down and broken up, or even steampunk-like. He'd kind of have a Rustline-like aesthetic to him, which would have fit in the Rustline Grand Prix, but unfortunately he didn't make the cut. Zam could have a griffin skin, with feathers on his front, a fluffy lion tail, and big wings. Zim could be a vampire, because the thought of Zim as a big, dumb, lazy vampire is hilarious. Tawna would definitely enjoy glitz, glamour, and the spotlight, so why not give her an old-fashioned style movie star skin? Fancy dress, big star-shaped sunglasses, the works. Since Tommy is a scrapper and a tomboy, let's give her a wrestling champion skin, complete with sports tape and a giant championship belt around her waist. Now the skins of the last 3 members of the Nitro Squad are based off their ethnicities or cultures, starting with Megumi in either a kimono or yukata, or even adopting the look of a geisha. Next, Liz could totally rock the look of a royal guard. That would be a really neat outfit for her. And Isabella could take a page out of Pinstripe's book and transform into a mobster with a spiffy suit. Baby Crash and Baby Coco could dress as superheroes, with Baby Crash showing off super strength in his podium animation, and Baby Coco shooting lasers out of her eyes. Baby T could adopt the colors of a velociraptor, with a brilliant green-bluish color palette. And now we come to Spyro, who has a lot of skins that can be included just like Crash. First up is his retro look from Reignited, to complement Crash's, the remaining power-up colors that aren't represented yet, being the Magma-esque invincibility design, green plasma bomb or acid shot look, the striped Super Flame look from Spyro 2, at which point they could rename the current Super Flame Spyro something like Fairy's Kiss Spyro, since that's how he gets his Super Flame in the first game, and the blue supercharged design that also comes from Spyro 2. And as an added suggestion, it'd be cool to see Spyro rock the color palettes of his fellow dragon friends, Cinder, Flame, and Ember. Hunter could take on the wardrobe of his Legend of Spyro self, which I always thought looked super cool. For Nasty Norik, I could see him rocking his Hero's Tail armor, since it does look quite different from his Spyro 1 look. Again, his reignited design, but the Hero's Tail attire. Komodo Mo is a bigger, more threatening looking guy than Joe, so for him he could look kind of old Emperor-ish, with an Attila the Hun inspired outfit. since Joe's already got one that's sort of similar to Genghis Khan. For Brio, it'd be cool to see him in either his Twinsanity or Mind Over Mutant outfits again, or you could totally have a bartender skin, in reference to his 100% ending from Crash 1. That would be really cool. For Nina, I'd like to see her part-timer costume from CTTR make a return, as well as her Titan/Mind Over Mutant look. Koala Kong's skin idea is interesting. For those who may not know, his trademark scowl from the Naughty Dog days were actually based off of Sylvester Stallone's, and Kong's old bio even outright states that he was subjected to many of Stallone's films when getting brainwashed. So with that said, what if he had a boxer skin that was a cheeky reference to Rocky Balboa? I think that'd be a really cool way to pay homage to some of Koala Kong's more obscure origins. It surprised me Pasadena didn't come already equipped with her Ambignator costume from CTTR, so I'd certainly like to see that make a return. And likewise, the same goes for Von Clutch in his Captain No Sense costume. King Chicken already has palettes based off of other birds, so a peacock would look really nice on him, colorful tail feathers and all. Rilla Rookung could also be a boxer, mainly in reference to the banner of him facing Koala Kong in Koala Carnival. Yaya could take on the look of a Kung Fu master. Just think of something right out of Kung Fu Panda. I remember incorrectly labeling Hasty's Blizzard Rider skin as some kind of disco outfit, but then that got me thinking, how cool would it be to see him in exactly that? Bell bottoms and everything. Chick could take on the colors of a flamingo, Stu could look like a great blue heron, and last but not least, for Megamix, since a very quick mention in Rustland's CTR TV spot retcons the mutant's origins, from fusing after the planetary minimizer gets destroyed to being a product of a toxic waste accident, he could take inspiration from Dingodile's hazmat suit and become Biohazard Megamix, in a white suit with the big old Biohazard logo on the front. Phew. There you have it, over 70 skin ideas across all 50 playable characters in the game currently. Again, these are all merely suggestions, and I'm sorry for these silly reference photos I've used throughout the video, but we try to stay as true to each character's personality as we could, while still throwing in some goofy suggestions as well. So what do you think of this massive list? Can you think of any more skin ideas for your favorite characters? If you do, share them in the comments down below, and until next time, I'm Marcelo, I will see you guys later, thanks for watching, and take care.